What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Martin Skirsis for coming through and boosting up the coins. So we got some breaking news here right now regarding Maximus, Danelius Dubois, and Joseph Parker. Parker's now officially called him out. He said he looked great with Jarrell Miller, Hergovich, and AJ. But there's a difference. I'm fresh, I'm hungry, and ready to go. I've been waiting since March for a big fight. Let's get it on now. And that's true, actually. Parker's going to be on the bench for basically a year. I don't know what he's been doing. Well, actually, I blame Zhang. Zhang had a contracted rematch clause. I don't know what Zhang's doing. I think Zhang's very lazy, actually. From what I've heard, he's very lazy. He doesn't like to stay active. He doesn't like to be in the mix. He doesn't like to train. That's what I've heard about Zhang. And it shows that. Because Zhang could have said... Zhang fought Wilder in June, didn't he, to be fair? That's actually, to be fair to Zhang, that's probably what messed him up. He fought Wilder in... He could have... that rematch clause was still there. He should have been pulled that. I don't know what he's doing. Because if Zhang fights Parker through his rematch clause and beats Parker, he's straight in there for a world title shot for WBO. Which is what he took off Joyce, but then lost to Parker. So I don't know who's managing. I don't know who's managing Zhang. It's Frank Warren, but I don't know what their angle is. Parker's the best fight to have. If you had to pick a fight for a world title eliminator, it's not going to be one to fight. Zhang's also ranked in the IBF, right? But people, if you want to fight for a world title belt, I tell you what you don't want to do. You don't want to have to fight the winner of Caballero and Bacoli. That's what you don't want to do, right? As far as getting a free belt opportunity is, I'd take Parker all day over Bacoli or Caballero. Look, that man can punch. Parker can't punch like that. And Parker's fights were boring. So I don't know what Zhang's doing. I don't know what he's doing. Is it possible that Frank Warren's saying to Zhang, no, Zhang, we'll have you fight Dubois? Because Zhang's ranked high in the IBF. But I wouldn't have thought Frank Warren would want to put Dubois in there straight with Zhang now. I wouldn't really want... I'd take it if it happens, but I want to see some of these guys build. I want to see Bacoli build a bit, assuming he beats Caballero. Or even if Caballero wins, I want to see some of these guys now. I want to build it into something big, essentially, is what I'm saying. Dubois has done enough for me now, for him to have a little bit of a step down or a flat fight. Going spark in there now with Bacoli and whatnot, which isn't going to be far away. He's mandatory next. So Caballero versus Bacoli is going to happen. And then it's the winner of that versus Dubois. So he's only got a year. He's only got one voluntary. Listen, it'll be phenomenal. If Dubois went in there with Zhang and then goes in there potentially Bacoli next. To go Miller, Hergovich, AJ, Zhang, Bacoli. If he pulled off that 5... I'm putting him up there, top 3 all time, heavyweight. He pulled off them wins. In fact, that might even be... I'm not a historian, so you man would have to correct me, but name me a champion who's gone on a run like that. Because from what I understand, in Ali's era, there'd be some big fights, but there's often a lot of bums mixed in there. If you look at people like Mike Tyson's career, there's some good fights, but it's very... So yeah, anyway, that's not likely. It's not likely for Dubois to fight Zhang and Bacoli in the next 2 fights. Anyway, I've digressed here. The point is supposed to be Joseph Parker. Now, Joseph Parker is the WBO interim champion, which means he can't be ranked in the IBF. However, Hatman actually pointed out, so salute to him, these aren't my bars. I like to credit where my bars come from, because you best believe there's a lot of man stealing my bars and not giving no credit. We don't do no stealing bars here. If I heard something somewhere, I'd tell you, man, right now where I heard it from. A lot of cats capping my bars. You best believe it's pissing me off. Not giving no flowers nowhere. Where are my flowers, man? People steady stealing my bars and not giving no flowers. So anyway, Hatman passed me the game on this one. He said... it's not that much of a wicked point, but it's worth mentioning. Parker is WBO interim, which means... he can't be ranked. Champions and those kind of dudes can't be ranked or are not ranked in other belts rankings. Which means Parker to fight Dubois would need some sort of agreement to drop the WBO in some sort of fashion and fight for the IBF. But that would require politicking. Frank Warren's going to need to politic the IBF to enable that. It might not even be possible. The IBF's the most strict. They might say, no, we're not going to just rank Parker straight in there so you can fix that. But if anyone can pull it off, it will be Turkey and Frank Warren. And really, in terms of profile, when you look at the IBF rankings, which we did a deep dive on the other day, you'll notice that there's no glaringly obvious choice for Dubois, which gives this idea credit of Frank Warren trying to maneuver Joe Parker into it, because you've got Caballero and McCauley, they're fighting. Zhang is the one that stands out. He really wants to fight. I'd back Dubois to beat Zhang. Too young, too fresh. If Dubois can negotiate the first, I wouldn't advise. I'd normally tell Dubois, get in there and get on him. The Zhang fight, there's no point. Joe Joy showed you don't do that with Zhang. You don't run straight at Zhang in the early rounds. You let Zhang get tired after 4 or 5 rounds and he is useless. With Wilder, he looked great for 4 rounds, pinging Wilder around the ring, and then he did nothing. Yeah, until Wilder made a massive, catastrophic, retarded mistake. It wasn't actually Zhang's excellence which brought around that knockout. It was not. It was the fact Wilder can't box for toffee. That's what that was. So Zhang is well documented. He's dangerous for about 4 or 5 rounds and his wheels fall off exponentially. So Dubois goes in there, negotiates the first 4 or 5 rounds, gets his jab going, gets Zhang tired, and then give him the work. I'd back Dubois in that fight, full stop. I mean, Zhang's lost to Parker, for example. He's lost to Parker, so you ain't that good. Yeah, I think Zhang won the fight because of the knockdowns, but that's how I score fights. Traditionally, Zhang didn't win enough rounds. If you go back based on the round system, Zhang didn't win enough. He lost. And if you're losing to Parker, if Parker can outbox you, Parker's like 6'3" and can't punch. His hands are quicker though, but Dubois is good. So I'd back Dubois to beat Zhang. You've then got Frank Sanchez. And so the point is, the rest of these cats here, they're like nobodies. So take out Zhang. Everyone else on this list, Parker has more clout and is actually an easier fight. Yeah? If you have to fight Parker or Sanchez, you're going to get much more, especially Parker. We have to give him credit. He's got a lot of form. He's beat Wilder, he's beat Zhang. I mean, that's really phenomenal. No, the odds of that happening were probably 1,000 to 1. I'd have taken them odds. There was only 1,000 to 1 chance Parker was going to beat Wilder and then Zhang back to back. No one saw that coming. So we have to give Parker credit. That said, he's manageable. He can't punch. He's one of them. So you've got Frank Sanchez, F.A. Jagba. It's not going to be Hrgovic. It's not going to be Chisora, God forbid. What could be Wallet? All these guys, it's like Anderson just lost. Wardley just fought. Never heard of any of these bums here. So it actually makes sense to be Parker. It fits with that narrative of Parker's not just a name. He actually has done something recently as well. It's not like it's going to be a massive step down. Parker, I'll put it out there now, Parker will give Dubois a better fight than AJ did. Bottom line. Parker will give Dubois a better fight than AJ did, I believe. Parker's chin's better at this point, at least. His hand speed's there and he's in form. Consistent form as well. Not the moody AJ party trick form lie myth. Cabal scam there is running on you, man. On the low IQ unwashed masses. You man got game run on you. Yeah, you man like them drunk females with 2-2 Mickey in their drink. You got game run on you. Yeah, and you ended up at dude's yard. Getting take that from a bag of man. That's what you ended up with. Oh, IB, Johnston. He no good. I told you that. I tried to tell you that as well. That's what I tried to do. You couldn't help yourself. So, these ones here, you don't want to watch any of these ones here, man. You don't want to watch any of these ones here. If it's not going to be the AJ... You know what, at this point, I wasn't sure, but at this point, AJ rematch, which is off the table, or Parker. I'm happy with that. Really, I'll be unhappy with any of these. I'll be unhappy with... Wardley I'll be happy with, but it's not going to happen. Frank Warren said that. Anderson, He needs a win. Villanello, no, I'll be unhappy with that. I'll be unhappy with Hunis. I'll be unhappy with Chisora. That would be a slaughter. I never bet on getting a knockout. I would bet the knockout on that for sure. Dubois would do Chisora some serious harm. He would do him some serious harm. Do not let that happen. It's not even funny. Yeah, Chisora going in there with Fury is one thing. Do not put Dubois in there with Chisora. And it could be the case. Dubois' team, we know Dubois' trainer, Don Charles, had some bad blood with Chisora. So Don Charles might be egging for this one here. But this will be dangerous, seriously. Because I've seen signs from Chisora. There's signs from Chisora. Even in that Joe Joyce fight. Yeah, even in the Joe Joyce fight, he's going back to the ropes and just fighting off the ropes. That reminds me of... He's not as finished as Ali was, obviously. But it reminds me of Ali. His legs have gone and he just goes back to the ropes. It's not a good look. It's not a good look, I don't think. And that was with Joe Joyce, who's slow and not the heaviest puncher and whatever else. So don't let that happen, please. That wouldn't be good. You got Dillian White coming back. That makes sense if they want to do that. Chisora versus Dillian White, fine. So yeah, I like that fight. Anyway, there's some quotes here as well from Frank Warren talking about this fight. Frank Warren on a potential fight with Joseph Parker versus Dubois. I like that fight, but there's a few others there as well. Everybody was focusing on the AJ rematch, and we know where we are now. We've got to sit down with a team and pick the right opponent. So essentially, this rules out the AJ fight at this point. Forget about that. He don't want it. So all that talk about three-time champion and being a warrior was fugazi. He thought there was an easy right-hand party trick with Dubois. He found out it wasn't. He don't really want greatness like that. If he did, he'd have been jumping at the bit to get his three-time champion thing that he was shouting about. It's hard to get a title belt in this division right now. And you've been offered that, but you don't want it because you're sitting there trying to dig pocket. You want to fight Tyson Fury. Stavros Flatley type dude. That's what you want to do. You don't want to go in there with Danny D. Danny D is not conducive to your health, people. We know the factors to life which are conducive to a healthy and long, prosperous life. And Danny D is not one of them, folks. He make that life real short. Yeah, that's what he'll do. He'll shorten it, people. If your life expectancy is 77 years before running into Danny D, you best believe you losing 10 from that. AJ lost 10. Or maybe not 10, but he lost a few. Yeah, if AJ was going to make it to 77, he's only making it 75 now. Fact, right? Danny D took 2 years off him Spark for nothing. That's what happened there. So he don't want that. And the next fight, he'd probably take another 5 off. That's what he'd probably do. Because he's dangerous. Not good for your health. Yeah. Federal government warning. 100%. Disclaimer. So AJ's off the cards. Everybody was... We've got to sit down and pick the right opponent. Yeah, Parker. That said, some people are saying they might do some of these ones here. I mean, I'll watch it, but Parker has some edge to it, right? These ones here, no edge. In fact, I'll tell you the ones that have no edge. Justice, no. Guido, no. Wallin, no. Anderson, I'll take Anderson, people. I'll take Anderson over these two bums here. And Chisora. And Wallin. I'd watch the Hrgovic fight, but it's not going to happen. But still, I'd watch the Hrgovic fight again. That's worth watching again, because Hrgovic, to be fair, he's done the best. I had him winning 5 of the first 5 rounds straight. Maybe even 6 rounds. It was certainly 5. He won the first 5 rounds. It wasn't even close. So, and that's quite phenomenal, really, when you look back at it. Hrgovic ran out of gas, but it's quite phenomenal to have that kind of performance against Daniel Dubois that we're seeing out there now. So Hrgovic, even in that loss, he looked solid. And who knows if that cut didn't happen? Who knows? So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Do you want to see the Joseph Parker fight? Smash the like button, subscribe. Of course, I'd back Danny D to smoke Parker. I'd back Danny D to... Parker's footwork was good. I'm not sure he'd be able to... I need to watch the Zhang fight back, actually. I need to see how elusive Parker was. He must have been a little bit. I think he got hit by Zhang. Zhang's quick though, but still, he got hit by Zhang. He got put down by Zhang. So on that basis, twice. If you get put down by Zhang twice, Danny D finisher. Zhang is quick though, but Danny D ain't slow. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe. Lick up the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about these bars. People, stop it.